Uniform Civil Code. And what is the context of this news? That recently High Court refuses to entertain pleas seeking Uniform Civil Code. And the reason what High Court stated that this matter, Law Commission is already studying this matter. Okay. Now, as this article revolves around Uniform Civil Code, which is important from GS paper 2 under polity and governance, and also from the perspective of social justice. Okay. Now, let me put one small question in front of you, that we all went to school and we were having childhood friends from different backgrounds, different religion, having different faith. Have we ever wondered that they will be marrying under different personal laws like Hindu Marriage Act, Christian Marriage Act, Shariat law? Have we ever wondered? See, this is the one aspect of personal law that is connected to marriage. Just think about if everyone governed under different laws, the kind of chaos or tension or complexity it will create with respect to executive, judiciary, legislative. So, to reduce this complexity, what is the cure? What is the solution? Solution lies in having a uniform personal law, which entails common laws or common procedures with respect to marriage, divorce, succession, adoption, inheritance. So, if we have common law, definitely it will reduce chaos or tension. So, the solution is Uniform Civil Code. What is Uniform Civil Code? Uniform Civil Code is a common law which combine or the base of all the personal law and which will create equality for all the citizens irrespective of their religion, irrespective of their sex, irrespective of their sexual orientation, irrespective of their gender. So it will bring equality, uniformity. And why we are talking about Uniform Civil Code? Because it is mentioned in Article 44 in your DPSP, which forms Part 4 of the Indian Constitution. There, it is mentioned that state shall endeavor to achieve a common code among its citizens. State shall endeavor, and state should, but it can't be enforced. Why? Because it is a part of, it lies in Part 4, which is non-justiciable, unlike fundamental rights, which can be enforced. Okay. So now you know what is Uniform Civil Code. In crux, Uniform Civil Code will replace all personal laws based on different customary practices, different religion uh, basis, and it will all formulate one common law which will deal aspects other than public affair like marriage, divorce, inheritance, etc. Okay. So this law will cover these aspects. Now we know what is Uniform Civil Code and where it is mentioned in our constitution. Now let's delve much deeper. Let's come to the historical background of Uniform Civil Code, as it is not a new concept, not a new debate. So it started with the colonial history. Basically, British unified the criminal laws to ease their administration process. Okay, so what they have done, they unified the criminal laws, but they left civil codes to the individual religious minorities or to the individuals, that they can plan their own criteria, but they curated Uniform Criminal Code to ease their administration process. Okay, so we have Uniform Criminal Code. Okay, and why they done so? To avoid social unrest. If they interfere with personal laws, definitely there will be a high chances of social unrest. So to avoid social unrest, they given this discretion to the religious groups, different religious groups. So different religious groups have their own laws, and these laws govern their own individuals. Okay. Now later, this debate came into the main course when there was a debate during uh, the time of framing constitution. So there we can see that groups divided. One was supporting UCC. This group was supported by B.R. Ambedkar. According to this group, we should we should go for a uniform civil code. Why? Because it will promote gender parity. It will promote national integration, secularism. But there was another group who was against it. Why? According to them, that we should not tamper with personal laws, or we should not hurt the sentiments with or without their discretion. So there were two opinions. So this is all about historical background of uniform civil code. Okay, now this law can do wonders, as it can give it can promote national integration, it can promote secularism, it can promote gender parity, but still this law has not seen day of the light. So there must be some hurdles. So now in further discussion we'll see arguments in favor of uniform civil code and arguments against uniform civil code. Okay. So the first argument in favor of uniform civil code is that it will promote equal status to all citizens. See, anything which will bring uniformity, definitely it will give equal status to all citizens, because it will remove the layer of discrimination which is based on religion, caste, sex. Okay, so it will bring uniformity. You understand this, that with an example, that in Muslims, males can do full marriage and they unilaterally can take divorce, which you know with the term triple talaq, though this recently outlawed by the Supreme Court. Then all Hindu personal law are a little bit more biased on inheritance towards male heirs. So recently there were many judgments which provide equal ground for male and female. So you can see that all these personal laws have a bias towards one against one gender. So this uniformity can eradicate this problem. It can bring gender parity. And question is not only about gender inequality. Question is about all the complexities, because see, multiple religion, multiple laws, definitely there will be a complexity, inconsistency. So uniform civil code will solve this problem. Okay. And also it adhere to the principle of, to the article 14, that is equality, equal protection of laws. Okay. Now the second is accommodations aspirations of young population that based on principle of modernity and reform existing personal laws. See, recently Supreme Court came with many judgments which accommodate the principle of modernity. In Shah Banu case in 1985, Supreme Court upheld that Muslim women will get the maintenance even after Idat period. Okay. In Sarla Mutkal case, 1995, Supreme Court upheld that Hindu male cannot convert to Muslim without dissolving first marriage, or they cannot marry under different laws without dissolving their first marriage. And this principle was upheld it by in Sarla Mudgal case. Again, in Daniel Latif case 2001, Supreme Court upheld it that Muslim women will get the maintenance right even if she get divorced under Muslim personal law. See, all these cases reflects what? These cases accommodate the principle of modernity, and this principle based on what? Universally accepted values like equality, liberty. So all these values promote social harmony. And you should also know that contemporary India consists of 50% of the young population. That means a 50% population is having age less than 25 years. Now, if this 50% population social attitude basically based on modern principles like humanity, equality, liberty, so to harness the potential of demographic dividend, what we should have? We should have uniform civil code. This is one of the strong argument in favor of uniform civil code. Okay? And you can quote all these cases in your answer to enrich your answer. Next, it will promote national integration. Definitely, it will promote national integration because it will reduce the scope of politicization of issues based on discrimination, appeasement on religious lines. Still in India, we are voting on religious and cultural lines. And how long will do that? To become developed nation, now we should not vote on religious and cultural lines. We should vote on development agenda, environment conservation, economic upliftment. That's on the basis we should vote now. There we should have like voting appeals based on these issues, not on the religious and cultural lines. And uniform civil code will cut down this. Okay? So definitely it will promote national integration. Now, in turn, it will promote secularism and neutrality. It's true. In India, you must have heard that Goa is the only state with uniform civil code. All the citizens in Goa, they have the same law with respect to marriage, inheritance, divorce. And this UCC stems out of Portuguese 1967 Act. And even on global front, if you see that many Western countries adopted the same. You take an example of France. France adopted Napoleonic Code, which provide the base of private laws. So to change the course from developing to developed, this is one of the key change we need to make. Okay. So definitely it will promote national integration. It will promote secularism and neutrality. But here one thing you need to understand that the diversity India is having and the diversity Western nations are having. India is having much more than Western nations. Okay. And this is one of the reason which is a cause of concern, or you can say implementation hurdle. Okay. So these are the arguments in favor. Now, let's see what are the other implementation hurdles. So the first hurdle is India's biggest strength, that is India is a diverse country. Now, India is a diverse country, but why this is a hurdle? This is a hurdle because, see, in India, you have multiple laws like Indian personal law, Hindu personal law biased towards females on inheritance aspect. Muslim female age, marriageable age is different if you compare from other religion. You must have heard about polygamy and polyandry. Many religious and customs, do allow polygamy and polyandry in India. Now, what is polygamy? Polygamy is when one male can have multiple wives. And what is polyandry? One female can have multiple husbands. Okay. So many religious and customary practices do permit polyandry and polygamy. Then, if you talk about grounds of divorce, they vary religion to religion. If any female is asking for the compensation after divorce, that depends on her religious affiliation. Okay. So all these aspects bring inconsistency. Okay. And that is why this is one of the implementation hurdle. India diversity, which is its strength, became the hurdle in implementing uniform civil law or code. Okay. Second is lack of consents on provisions of UCC. See, all these personal laws, they are deeply rooted on ages old customary practices, or you can say religious belief. So to have any kind of twist and turn, you need to have a delicate balance and respect for that years old traditions and beliefs, which is one of the issue to find out that right balance. And why this lack of consent is an issue, you understand this with the help of example. Divorce is common in all the religion, but there's a one basis for do so, that is desertion. So to this waiting time for desertion to be considered as a like parameter to sanction divorce varies religion to religion. For Christians, it is 2 years, and for Hindus, it is that waiting period is 7 years. Now, this waiting time is a bone of contention that what should be the ideal time. If they put two, again it is a matter of concern, like they are favoring one community or one religion. If they put seven, then again there is a bone of contention that they are favoring one. So what should be the ideal one? So there is a lack of consensus on this aspect, and this is one of the aspects. There are multiple aspects. There are multiple laws governing our personal affairs. Okay, so there's a lack of consensus on provision of UCC, which is another important implementation hurdle. Then it violates fundamental rights, that is Fundamental Right 25 and FR 29. Let's understand this. See, Article 14, 15 give equality, and same article bars state to interfere, or you can say bars state not to discriminate on the basis of religion. Okay. But Article 25 and Article 29, Article 25 give right to profess your religion, Article 29 give right to have distinct culture. Now here, one side, you are getting that equality before law, and religion cannot discriminate on the basis of religion. So state need to ensure that common pedestal for everyone to avoid that discrimination. And here Article 25 and 29 give you that freedom to profess your religion. But same Article 25 having one another aspect, and which is that state can interfere on the ground to maintain public order. Okay. So as you can see here that this Article 25 is not absolute article. State can interfere. Now if state do so, then people might reach to court that state is violating our fundamental rights. That's how it creates another layer of issue. Okay. Now, let's come to the next hurdle, that is inconsistency of applying one nation, one law. Why there is inconsistency of applying one nation, one law? Because if you see criminal codes, you take example of CRPC, IPC, even in CRPC and IPC, they are not unified totally. You take provision of anticipatory bails. The provisions of anticipatory bails vary state to state. Okay. So why we need uniform civil code? Okay. The next is it is against spirit of federalism. How? Because personal law comes under the concurrent list. Now, many constitutional experts, they said that even framers of the constitution didn't intend in total uniformity, and that is why they put it in concurrent list, where union and center have the same right, both can frame the law, and they also don't want total uniformity. Then what is the need to have uniform civil code? So this will go against the spirit of federalism. Okay. Then, last but not the least, protection of human rights or social obligation. There are many experts, they argue that every nation, they respected or they formulated or they laid down the principles to solve social evils like child marriage. India is already having a law against it. Okay. So when there is a law against societal evils and it ensures social obligation, then what is the need to temper with personal laws? Why to twist and turn personal laws? There is no need to do so. Under the garb of preventing or protection of human rights, right? So these are the different implementation hurdles to have uniform civil code. Now, in this article, we have covered what is uniform civil code, its historical background precisely. Then we have seen arguments in favor of it. And right now we have seen the arguments or hurdles in implementing uniform civil code. So what is the way out? Now, debate around uniform civil code we have seen is complex and multifaceted. It revolves around many angles, religious, cultural, political. Okay, that is why it is complex. Though UCC having the potential to eradicate gender inequality, promote national integration, secularism, but it do raise a concern with respect to cultural diversity. We have given special status to Northeast state. So if we start placing everyone on the same pedestal, so it is that we are curbing their cultural right, minority right. Okay. So it raises concern about religious freedom, cultural diversity, and right of minority communities. So where is the balance? Balance is challenges to maintain this right balance between these competing interests and ensuring if UCC is implemented, then it should be equitable, inclusive, and respectful of India's diverse cultural and religious landscape. And this idea is also supported by 21st Law Commission. They emphasize on reforming family laws, rather solely dependent on UCC or enactment of UCC. Okay. So this is all about Uniform Civil Code. If you have any doubt with respect to Uniform Civil Code, you can post or you can drop your doubts in our comment box. Okay. Then, now let's come to the second mains topic, which is based on this news article which appeared on page 8 in the Hindu newspaper. This article context is that on the sidelines of COP28, Prime Minister Modi met Israel President Isaac. Okay. And there Prime Minister Modi ensured continue humanitarian aid to the Palestinian population. But here he didn't talk about ceasefire. which is a new development. Okay, so bilateral groupings or ties is important in your GS paper too. And this article revolves around India and Israel. So, in this discussion, we'll discuss evolution of India and Israel relation. We'll also cover dimensions of bilateral relations. Now, this theme is also important from the UPSC perspective. As in year 2022, UPSC framed question on grouping which entails India and Israel, that is I2 U2. In year 2018, UPSC framed question on the evolution of ties between India and Israel. So answer of this question we'll discuss today. First part, that is evolution of India and Israel relation. Now, India and Israel consist of relation or evolution, you can say, three layers. First, when there's a distance between India and Israel. Second, where India came closer to Israel. And third, we'll see in our discussion. So, it all started when India and Israel dealt with difficult partition and emerged out relatively stable democracy in our volatile neighborhoods. See, India, it's all started when India got independence, and India got bloodshed independence after bloodshed partition. So India decided never to support any kind of partition which is based on the bloodshed or on the religious line. And that is why India were against two nation theory, which led to the creation of Israel. And our prime that is why Prime Minister Nehru voted against this two nation theory. And you will be amazed to know that India was the only non Arab nation who voted against two nation theory or creation of Israel. Okay? And why it's so? It was based on various factors. The first one is obviously India was against the creation of any state which is based on religious lines, and that is why India always supported a Palestinian territory with autonomous territory for Jewish population. Okay. Second, India stand against colonialism, and for India, Zionist movement is a neo-colonialism. So India was against this. Then India was a newly independent country, and it was highly dependent on Arab states for its energy security. And that is why India supported Palestinian cause. Then US led Western Bloc. Now Israel is part of US led Western Bloc, and US, why India was against this bloc and India was tilted towards USSR bloc, Soviet Union bloc. Why? Because this US led Western bloc supported Pakistan over Kashmir issue. So obviously our tilt was towards USSR. Then India decided not to antagonize large Muslim population over this issue. So these are the major reasons why there was an arm's length distance between India and Israel. This formulates the first year of India-Israel relationship. Here we are discussing about the evolution. So this is the first year. Now, let's come to the second. See, 1950 led to the creation of Israel state, and 1992 India established full diplomatic ties with Israel. And it all started in 1991. Why? And from here, it's your second phase. second phase of evolution of ties between India and Israel. So the first reason is obvious reason that there was a disintegration of USSR in 1991. Earlier there was two superpowers, USSR and US. Now after this, it led to the unipolar world guided by US. And India witnessed economic reforms in 1991. Okay, India opened up its economy. There is only one leader now, US. So there's a obvious tilt towards US. These are the major reasons behind shift in India's foreign policy. Other domestic factors are also there. Now, India was highly dependent on Israel defense imports. Okay. Now, Israel was pretty good in handling cross border terrorism. So, India thought that it will be a solution for its Kashmir issue. So, this drew India closer to Israel. Israel expertise in solving cross border terrorism drew India towards Israel. Okay. And this we can see that there was a large exchange of equipments like night vision goggles, ammunitions, and there was a tremendous increase after Pokhran, that is year 1998. Okay. Then there was a good exchange of information between RAW and Mossad, that is Israel Intelligence Agency. So these are the reasons which shaped the second tier of evolution of India and Israel ties. Now let's come to the last one, which revolves around dehyphenation policy. Now, what is dehyphenation policy? Suppose see earlier India need to pick one country and India need to support that, or you can say one section, that is in first tier India was supporting Palestinian, that is PLO, and in second there was a movement of India and Israel towards each other. But in third phase, India decided to go on a case to case basis. That means on some issue, India can support PLO, that is Palestinian Liberation Organization, and on some issue, India can support Israel. And India can do so by maintaining a good relationship with both Israel and PLO. Okay, so India can go case to case basis here, and this policy is known as dehyphenation policy. So in year 2016, India abstained again from UNHRC resolution against Israel. Okay, here India abstained. Just watch that how this dehyphenation worked. In year 2018, Prime Minister Modi became first ever Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel. Okay, first ever Prime Minister, but there he decided not to visit Ramallah. And what is that? De facto capital of Palestinian. Okay. Then Trump administration decided to recognize Jerusalem as the Israel capital. But here, India had voted in favor of resolution in the United Nations General Assembly opposing it. See, earlier, India abstained from voting. Then PM Modi visited Israel. There he skipped Ramallah. And in later, India voted against Israel. So you can see that India made analysis case to case basis. This is dehyphenation. And it all started from year 2014 or post 2014. So here you can see there are three tiers. First, where India was at a distance. Then second, India and Israel came closer. There was a convergence of interest. And third, dehyphenation last year, where India is balancing its interests and deciding on the case to case basis, not stick to one or not having one alignment that they will support only Israel or they will support only PLO. Okay, this is mature diplomacy. Now, we have seen the evolution of ties between India and Israel. Now, let's see those sectors where they are converging. And it is a static fact. So, I request you to take the screenshot, which you can use in your answer to enrich the quality of your answers. So, there are several dimensions of bilateral relations: economic, investment, agriculture, defense, science, and technology. So, India, so bilateral merchandise trade, which was US dollar 200 million in 1992, stood US dollar 5.65 billion in year 2018 and 19. See the growth. And also you can see that it is in India's favor. That means India is exporting more. Also, India is Israel's third largest trade partner in Asia and seventh largest globally. Then, Indian investment in Israel total US dollar 122.4 million, and there were about more than 300 investment. And majorly, Israel invested in India in high-tech domain and in agriculture. Okay. Then third sector is agriculture. India benefited from Israel expertise and technology in horticulture, mechanization, nursery management, canopy management. You must have heard about drip irrigation that comes under micro irrigation. Israel inspired India in this. Then another very important sector is defense sector. There we can see there's a regular exchanges between the armed forces. There is a cooperation on security issues, including joint working group on counter-terrorism. And India is among India's top 3 arms suppliers for the last 5 years. We have seen that in Israel supported India, especially post Pokhran, that is 1998. Then India and Israel have jointly developed Barak 8, that is air defense system. Then last but not the least, convergence in science and technology. India and Israel signed one MOU in year 2017 that established I4 Fund, that is India Israel Industrial Research and Development Innovation Fund. This fund developed by Department of Science and Technology India and National Authority for Technological Innovation Israel. So these are the different domains or sectors where Israel is engaging with India. Okay, so in this discussion, we have seen the evolution of ties and the domains, the areas where they are having a mutual interest. So, whatever doubts you are having, you can post in our YouTube comment box. We'll try to answer as soon as possible. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.